We live in interesting times. You're watching Eagle News International, Switzerland edition. I'm Christine Benedicto. Today's news headlines: an update on COVID-19. Mass displacement in Syria. The Iglesia Ni Cristos, My Countrymen, My Brethren activity reaches Spain. In lifestyle, know where to go and what to do in Rome, Italy. Beautiful Salzburg, Austria. Finland's capital city, Helsinki. In sports and technology, Manchester City banned for 2 seasons. The CERN's LHC accelerator. With thousands of fatalities and tens of thousands affected, the COVID-19 stirs the world. China, with more than 77,000 cases and at least 2,600 deaths due to COVID-19, has been seeing a decline in new cases in the recent days. However, there's a deep concern growing following the increase of infection in other countries, pushing the number of cases to no less than 2,700 and deaths to 40.
We are here to find out, together with the authorities, what is the situation, and also including the measure that the health system is putting in place. What we are seeing is that they are doing what is right in this context. They have been observing the evolving of the situation, and they are putting in place the measures that are needed at this point.
In Italy, for instance, some towns in the northern region are in lockdown after the number of cases has jumped to hundreds and several fatalities. France has announced 1 death, and Switzerland has its first confirmed case.
We don't speak about a pandemic at this point, because a pandemic would mean that there is an easy transmission of this virus from person to person. What we are observing now, based on the evidence, is that this transmission is still localized and happening with close contact. However, we need to be prepared, and that's why WHO is working with each country in the world to be ready for the arrival of COVID-19 and to contain it as best as possible.
To contain the spread of the virus, countries such as France and the UK, just like the European Parliament, have asked travelers from affected areas to stay at home for 14 days. Sweden and Denmark have assigned millions of dollars for the health crisis. The World Health Organization is clear, however. COVID-19 is not as lethal as other coronaviruses, with more than 80% of patients having mild symptoms and recovery rate. But the urgency to understand and act on it is great.
First, all countries must prioritize protecting health workers. Second, we must engage communities to protect people who are most at risk of severe disease, particularly the elderly and people with underlying health conditions. And third, we must protect countries that are the most vulnerable by doing our utmost to contain epidemics in countries with the capacity to do it.
Some of the symptoms of COVID-19 include fever, cough, chest pain, and shortness of breath. Severe cases develop into pneumonia and severe acute respiratory syndrome. There's still no vaccine nor medication against the virus. Patients are currently only being treated against its symptoms. And the most vulnerable are people aged over 80, as well as those with cardiovascular and chronic respiratory diseases, diabetes, and hypertension. Health officials highlight the importance of basic hygiene, like regular washing of hands and sneezing or coughing into one's sleeve or a tissue. For Eagle News International Switzerland edition, I'm Christine Benedicto, 1 with 25. Hundreds of thousands are affected by the conflict in Syria. Ace Miko brings us the details.
The ongoing conflict in Syria sparks fears of a humanitarian catastrophe as the number of displaced civilians continues to rise. An estimated 900,000 civilians, majority are women and children, have been forced to flee from their homes and shelters, leaving many to sleep anywhere they can find in the bitter cold. Tens and thousands of children, together with their families, are now living in refugee camps in tents, but also the open air, braving the winter rains, snowfall, and extremely cold weather.
We are all aware of the unfolding crisis in northwest Syria, and the terrible human toll on civilians. Nearly 900,000 people, the vast majority women and children, have fled in the latest fighting under the most tragic circumstances. Hundreds have been killed, many have been uprooted multiple times, and young children are freezing to death.
Demand for healthcare interventions is augmented. It has been reported that civilian infrastructures, such as healthcare facilities and hospitals, have also been a recent target of the ongoing attacks.
The High Commissioner puts it, no shelter is now safe. And as the government offensive continues and people are forced into smaller and smaller pockets, she fears even more people will be killed.
Furthermore, according to Mark Kutz, United Nations Deputy Regional Humanitarian Coordinator for the Syria crisis, the fighting had damaged some 77 hospitals and other medical facilities. With the vulnerability of the displaced children and families heightened, their need for urgent humanitarian assistance, as well as basic services, becomes all the more crucial. The scale of the situation, however, is far greater than expected.
The crisis really demands immediate action from the Security Council, from member states around the world, because this is a crisis now on a scale that we've not seen throughout the entire Syrian war. This is the biggest single displacement that we've seen throughout the Syrian war. We've seen more than 1,700 civilians killed in the last year. And those are just the numbers that have been verified, documented and verified by the UN.
The needs of the people are barely being met as United Nations tries to double the aid deliveries across a border crossing from Turkey from 500 to 100 trucks a day.
I'm really concerned about the continuation of this humanitarian operation cross-border from Turkey. The whole world can see how important this lifeline is. This is an important corridor where we've been supplying vulnerable civilians throughout the last few years. The needs in the last few months have gone up, they have not gone down. And so it's absolutely vital that we maintain this humanitarian corridor and that we have a Security Council resolution that allows the United Nations and other humanitarian actors to continue to operate across border from.
For EBC International, Switzerland edition, I am Ace Chimiko, 1 with 25.
Reaching out to fellow men is a regular activity of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ around the world. Our Spain Bureau reports.
The members of the Church of Christ here in Barcelona, Spain held an event called Mis Paisanos Mis Hermanos, or Kabayan Ko Kapatid Ko.
Many guests were invited in this event.
Es un gusto para mí estar aquí. Estoy aquí porque estoy invitado. Me invitó un amigo. Yo soy recién llegado a Barcelona y me gusta mucho estar aquí para conocer a Dios y a mis semejantes.
The members of the Church of Christ here in Barcelona, Spain, actively participated in this worldwide event. My countrymen, my brethren, was held to reach out non-members of the Church of Christ, extend help to them. Most importantly, share to them the faith and invite them to attend Bible studies.
Ang Iglesia po ni Cristo ay magsasagawa po dito sa gawaing kabayan ko, kapatid ko, upang ipadama namin sa lahat ng mga tao ang utos ng Diyos na ibigin ang kapwa, ibahagi ang aming pananampalataya, makatulong sa kapwa na nangangailangan, lalo na sa mga taga-sanlibutan na hindi pa lubusan nakauunawa tungkol sa kahalagahan ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa kapakanan ng kaligtasan ng tao. Kaya ang Iglesia ni Cristo naglunsad ng ganitong gawain at aktibidad ay para ipadama sa maraming mga tao ang pag-ibig ng Diyos sa kaliligtas ng marami. matulungan din ang kapwa, hindi lamang sa ikabubuhay, maging sa pamumuhay, higit sa lahat sa kanilang kaligtasan pagdating ng araw ng paghuhukom.
A special program was held to entertain the guests and cater the talents of the performers in dancing and singing Christian songs. The event was successful because of the cooperation of the members of the Church of Christ and their willingness to help our countrymen and share the faith that will lead to salvation.
From EBC Barcelona, I'm Marco Alipio, and I'm 1 with 25.
Young members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ in Geneva, Switzerland, show their appreciation to their parents.
Nowadays, one can wonder what it is that keeps families together. In the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ, this is how the youth show their love and respect to their parents.
The young members in the church congregations of Geneva and Geneva North in Switzerland organized a Parents' Appreciation Day. During the program, there was a presentation of family photos followed by surprise videos where the children had a loving message for their parents and grandparents. As the children expressed their thanks to their parents, who tirelessly love, guide, and care for them, the room was very quickly filled with tears of joy, warmth, and gratitude. The children also prepared a few more surprises.
Des cadeaux, des fleurs, des chocolats pour les remercier et aussi pour les aimer. Pour les aimer. I'm thankful for my parents for being by my side and taking care of my life.
L'activité m'a rendue vraiment heureuse parce que de passer des moments avec nos enfants et surtout avec les membres de l'Église du Christ, ça fait chaud au cœur et ça fait vraiment du bien d'avoir un petit moment tous ensemble.
The smile and tears on the parents' faces turned into laughter as the program continued with games involving parents and children.
For Eagle News International Switzerland edition, I'm Jamie Lee Umali and I'm 1 with 25.
Those are today's headlines. Stay tuned for lifestyle, sports, and technology reports.
Welcome to Lifestyle Stories from Continental Europe and Africa. Let's start in Rome, Italy and find out how to get information on how to make the most of Italy's capital city. Robeli Malabanan reports.
Despite its renowned worldwide status, Rome doesn't have a dedicated event for the promotion of its tourism sector. Well, that is not the case anymore. This is Roma Travel Show. Surpassing the boundaries of the regional dimensions, the Salone del Turismo aims for way more ambitious goals. This is the reason why it needs an exclusive location that only the city of Rome, with all its charm, history, tradition, and art, can offer. The main objective of Rome Travel Show is to promote Italy's capital Rome and the whole Lazio region. Thanks to its skilled operators, Roma Travel Show is able to provide travelers with professional assistance and support for any kind of occasion, be it a simple tour or a honeymoon for a newlywed couples, or perhaps the trip of a lifetime. Among the participating exhibitors, there will be travel agency, tour operators, cruise lines and travel experts, as well as organizations promoting their lesser known yet beautiful places. Reporting from Rome, Italy, this is Robily Malabanan and I am one with 25.
Now let's head to Salzburg, Austria, where the famous musician Mozart was born. Kathleen Fanner reports.
Hi, and welcome to the city also known as the stage of the world, Salzburg, here in Austria. If you like the movie Sound of Music, then visiting Salzburg is a must. Enjoy discovering the original shooting locations like the Mirabel Palace and Gardens, and be among the 300,000 visitors who visit the shooting locations every year. Do you recognize this fountain? The movie Sound of Music was filmed here in Mirabel Palace. Salzburg is the birthplace of the famous classical composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. So when walking through the old town of Salzburg, you will see Mozart's name quite often in commemoration of the artist's great works. Salzburg's cultural heritage does not stop with Mozart. If you have the time, you can visit one of the numerous theaters, museums, and events, or take a walk inside the many castles and have a closer look at the Baroque architecture. From the Sound of Music to the classical music of Mozart, you will discover that Salzburg is more than just Do Re Mi. I'm Kathleen Fanner, and one with 25.
Have you already been to Helsinki? Well, this is your chance to know more about the Finnish city. Christina Sumawang with the details.
Hi, this is Christina, and this time I am on my way to Helsinki, Finland. Finland is a country in the Northern Europe. Come, join me and let's explore this beautiful city. Finland is bordered by the countries of Norway, Sweden, Russia, and also by the Baltic Sea in the south. Finland's southern capital city is Helsinki, which has been since 1812. Helsinki is also the largest city of the country. You can get around the city by bus, tram, or take the northernmost subway in the world, the Helsinki Metro. Just do not forget to buy day tickets that works for all the transportations in the city and allows you to have a less expensive trip too. Because of the city's great designs, it attracted design lovers all over the world, and Helsinki was voted as the World Design Capital for 2012 by the International Council of Societies of Industrial Design. Even though Helsinki is the most populated area in the country, Helsinki is considered as a city of greenery. That is because you can never be far from a park here. Helsinki is also close to the sea and is surrounded by nature. A third of the city consists of parks and other green areas. And if you opt for a closer look at nature sightseeing, Helsinki's city bikes are all over the city. Rent one and do not be shy to ring the bell as you explore this beautiful city.
Helsinki is a city with long cold months and the temperature can drop up to -20 in winter. But a visit in a city with fresh air and warm saunas is a worthy trip. Just like what the Finns say, there's no such thing as bad weather, it's just a matter of proper clothing. This is Christina Sumawang and I'm always one with 25.
Those were today's lifestyle stories from continental Europe and Africa. I'm Man Glauser and I'm one with 25. Next, sports and technology.
Hi, I'm John Kevin Gloser for Sports and Technology News. In sports, a famous football club, Manchester City, has been banned for the next 2 seasons from European competitions due to financial fair play breaches. We'll hear more from Maui Nuevo.
I am Maui Nuevo, the EBC sports correspondent. Since the 1860s, football has been the most popular sport in the UK, as well as in Europe. Even through World War I, the 1914-15 FA Cup was held as normal, whereas other sports, like cricket, had matches cancelled. In modern-day Britain, football is going as strong as ever, with clubs like Manchester City making it to the European competitions. However, recent news has devastated football fans.
On Friday, the 14th of February, after an investigation into Manchester City based on leaked emails published by German magazine Der Spiegel, the UEFA announced that Manchester City has been banned from the European competitions for the next 2 seasons due to the serious financial fair play breaches. City, who were also fined €30 million, announced that they were appealing the suspension to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, or CAS, at the earliest opportunity. The club released a statement saying, Manchester City is disappointed but not surprised by today's announcement by the UEFA Adjudicatory Chamber, as the process is overseen by the UEFA chief investigator. There was little doubt in the result he would deliver. The club also stated, simply put, this is a case initiated by UEFA, prosecuted by the UEFA and judged by UEFA. With this prejudicial process now over, the club will pursue an impartial judgment as quickly as possible. The reason for this ban, explained by the European football's governing body, was that Manchester City Football Club committed serious breaches of the UEFA club licensing and financial fair play regulations by overstating its sponsorship revenue in its accounts and in the break-even information submitted to UEFA between 2012 and 2016. Though City plans to appeal the final decision of the UEFA, this seems less probable, as City lost a previous appeal to CAS over UEFA's original decision. City currently sits second in the Premier League table, meaning that the 4th Champions League slot available for English teams would likely go to the 5th placed club this term. Sheffield United, promoted to the top flight last year, sit in 5th. However, despite the disappointing news, this is not the first time that Man City has fallen foul of FFP regulations. In May 2014, they were fined €60 million and saw their Champions League squad reduced. The ban will raise questions about the future of City coach Guardiola as well as their key players. Guardiola reported to Sky Sports that he could be sacked if he failed to beat Real Madrid in the Champions League. Other than Manchester City, other football clubs have also faced their fair share of consequences from the courts of arbitration for sport. Qatari-owned Paris Saint-Germain were also fined that year. Even 7-time European champions AC Milan were banned from the season's Europa League for FFP breaches. Although many Man City fans are devastated by the news, La Liga president Javier Tebas applauded the UEFA for their sanctions of Man City, saying that UEFA is finally taking decisive action. Enforcing the rules of financial fair play and punishing financial doping is essential for the future of football. We finally have a good example of action. Looking ahead, City will face Real Madrid in the first leg at the Bernabeu on the 26th of February, with the second leg at the Etihad Stadium on March 17.
Reporting from EBC United Kingdom, I am Maui Nuevo and I am 1 with 25.
In technology, the CERN's particle accelerator takes a break 6 years after the historic discovery of the Higgs boson. A few years ago, the Higgs boson was discovered at the CERN in Geneva, Switzerland. Named after the scientist Peter Higgs, the Higgs boson is an elementary particle in the Standard Model of particle physics. Its discovery was historic, and it was made possible thanks to the Large Hadron Collider, or LHC, the largest particle accelerator in the world. It consists of a gigantic ring-shaped tube of 27 kilometers long and 100 meters under the surface. However, with the constant progress in technology and science, scientists set new goals for the LHC during its break.
La remise en route est prévue pour mai 2021, pour une durée d'environ 3 ans. Au cours de cette première phase de remise en route qu'on appelle le Run 3, on va donc augmenter un petit peu le taux de production des collisions dans la machine, légèrement. Et l'idée, c'est d'enregistrer à peu près 2 fois plus d'événements de collision que ce qu'on a eu jusqu'à maintenant. Et donc de les analyser pour rechercher à la fois de la nouvelle physique et aussi affiner la connaissance du boson de Higgs.
Besides finding new particles or knowing more about the Higgs boson, the dream would be to discover supersymmetric particles which could help in explaining dark matter. It would be a discovery as historic as the Higgs boson one, but only the future will tell us if this dream will come true. That's it for today's sports and technology news. I'm John Kevin Gloser and I'm 1 with 25.